Hello everybody, this is our group's SF presentation on the sustainable conservation of primates. The organization we are working with is the Jane Goodall Institute. The JGI is a global community conservation organization that advances the vision and work of Dr. Jane Goodall. Goodall was a dedicated woman who lived in the Gombe forest to study chimpanzees for decades, inspiring others to follow in her footsteps and care for the survival of chimpanzees. Their mission is to save chimpanzees from extinction as their numbers have decreased by 34% since the year 1900. It protects about 1.5 million acres of habitat, where 5,000 chimpanzees and gorillas live. Thus, we will also be embarking on a project to achieve a similar goal. A little background on the primate situation in Singapore. Primate sightings are not uncommon in Singapore due to the abundance of forests and parks, coupled with the limited space available for housing and recreational activities. With only an area 0.1% of Texas, humans and primates are bound to cross paths whilst dwelling on a small island. As fellow living creatures, we share our country with them, hoping to live without conflict. So, who exactly are our neighbours? There are only three primate natives in Singapore, namely the Sunda slow loris, the long-tailed macaque, and the Raffles-banded langur. The most common out of these three is the macaque, which can be found near various forest trails and nature parks and reserves. Next are a few news headlines on traumatic primate encounters. As you can see, humans are fearful and annoyed by primates, and we will be confirming this perspective using the data we have collected next.
So in slide 6, we see that a majority of people, 63 to be exact, feel to some extent that they are annoying and affect them in a negative way, showing that most people are actually not pleased with the actions of monkeys. And only around 33% of people, which is around 32 people, actually enjoy the presence of monkeys, while others have no opinion and just feel a passive positiveness to them. So it goes to show that as a collective, monkeys do impact humans on a more negative level than positive level. In slide 7, it actually seems that the frequency of seeing these monkeys and thus potential disturbance that they may cause is actually quite low, with around 64 total people making up the purple, green, and orange, saying that they only see monkeys once a month or even every few months. Very few people say that they see monkeys on the daily, and these people will most likely be living in the vicinities of these monkeys. And 20 people said that they see monkeys once a week. Thus, the general consensus is definitely that monkey sightings only come once in a while, and in some of these cases, they might not even be causing disturbance. In slide 8, we see that around 62% of answers, or 59 people, agree that humans are actually harming monkeys to a certain extent. Whether they choose to believe it or not and care about it is also varied. There is also a concern that a large number of people believe that humans are accidentally or unknowingly harming these monkeys, which goes to show that the everyday actions of humans can actually be negatively affecting them. So this can actually come in the form of humans trying to retaliate against these monkeys when these monkeys do cause disturbances, and thus they believe that humans are actually causing more impact to the monkeys in the end. It also means that most people feel that the real antagonist is actually the monkeys and not us, which expresses the general concern over these monkeys' welfare. Thus, in one way or another, humans are harming monkeys more than monkeys are harming humans in the long run.
Another question we chose for data collection was how monkeys had impacted people's lives. Across all 78 responses, we were able to realize that a large majority of people have experienced negative encounters with monkeys. This is the result of monkeys stealing items such as food and leaving messes around areas. Many find them a nuisance and a disturbance, especially when they invade people's houses and personal spaces. In Singapore, primates that cause a nuisance or are aggressive have a high chance of being euthanized. Thus, to prevent this, our prototype will be aimed at stopping primates from attacking, stealing from, or attacking people's properties. The main issue people have with primates is the invasion of private and public property, after which they cause disruptions in such places. This leads to a negative attitude and violence towards primates. Although the long-tailed macaque are the most common and create the most problems, the Sunda slow loris and the Raffles-banded langur are endangered and vulnerable respectively. Thus, it is even more important that we prevent incidents that may cause conflict and possible harm to them from humans. So how might we ensure the sustainability and continuity of primate species in Singapore and the rest of the world? For now, the current advice given from NParks to prevent monkey encounters are very simple and straightforward. For example, installing window grills and meshes and closing all windows and doors to prevent monkeys from entering the house. Secondly, they also advise to manage our garbage by securing our garbage bins with elastic bands or even a bungee cord. Lastly, they tell us not to reinforce their habits by not feeding the primates and protecting our belongings at any closed bags whenever we enter public areas where monkeys might attack us.
Okay, so once we had finished deciding on what problem we were going to try to solve, we then moved on to our ideation phase. So after filtering through many ideas, we decided on developing 3 products that were centered around the idea of scaring off primates with their innate fear of snakes, which has been proven before that they have developed and evolved to have. So even without any prior experience with snakes, monkeys have an innate fear of them. So firstly, we thought of having a keychain of a snake that can be rolled up for portability and then unrolled to resemble a snake and then inflated so that it resembles a snake. And then the next one would be a snake sticker to be pasted on the floors and walls of public areas to keep off the snakes. And lastly, for use in your outside your home and around your home to keep monkeys away, we would have plastic snakes that can be attached to window grills and laundry drying poles. Okay, so moving on to our prototyping phase, we actually decided not to develop the snake sticker idea because we felt that was unfeasible to have a sticker that is able to be pasted onto like concrete and asphalt and all those rough surfaces, which stickers actually can't really the adhesive can't really stick to those surfaces. So we decided to work on the other 2 prototypes. So firstly, this is our prototype for the plastic snake that can be attached to window grills and laundry drying poles. So in our design, we decided to make the snake resemble a Wagler's pit viper because those are the snakes that are most common in Singapore, and therefore monkeys would most likely be scared of them. Okay, so this is a video of how the prototype works. So as you can see, it's very simple. All you do is just take the snake, then you strap on the Velcro, and then that's it. Okay, so this should be very easy for anyone to use. It's very simple and should be quite cost effective as well. And our next product is the inflatable snake keychain that can be rolled and unrolled for portability. So this is the video of how it works. Okay, so as you can see, it does exactly what we wanted it to, which is just deflating and then it can be rolled up so you can carry it around. So obviously these 2 prototypes are just 3D models and animations that do not exactly portray what they would be like if they were to be made in real life. But this is the closest we could get because we could not make physical products because of COVID-19 restrictions. Okay, so now we move on to the evaluation. So for our evaluation, we asked 6 main questions, which is, do you think you would use these products? Why and why not? This is a very basic question. And then we asked them whether they would see any issues while producing or while using the products. And then for the first prototype, we asked them, the first prototype of the Velcro strap-on snake, we asked them whether they thought that these models would be able to work in any home, specifically because maybe some homes might not have window grills or laundry drying poles, but all of the users that we questioned said that it was fine for them. And then whether the 5th question that we have is whether the problem of keeping the primates away and the danger of them snatching your belongings away is worth carrying the inflatable snake. So yeah, then our last question is very simply just how do you think that we can improve these products? So the responses our users had we categorized into 4 sections. So firstly, what the user liked is very simple. It's not very beneficial to our evaluation, but it's just good to know what the strengths of our product are, which is it's very simple, aesthetically pleasing as well. It works in every house. It's convenient and easy to bring around for the second prototype. And the production seems cheap and easy. It's not too unfeasible, and it's a creative and innovative idea. So next, the more important sections, which is firstly the user's questions, what they wanted to be clarified, what they did not really understand about a product. So they wanted to know basically the first 2 responses there are how well the products work. So whether the monkeys will be able to recognize the snakes as whether they would be able to recognize the fake snakes as snakes, whether they would think they're snakes, and secondly, whether they would actually be scared of snakes. So how strong of their fear of snakes whether their fear of snakes is strong enough so that these products would be effective. So obviously, because we don't have physical prototypes and we do not have access to monkeys, we could not test these, but based on theory, it should work. And there was a concern about whether the primates will eventually learn that the products are harmless and ineffective. So this is a problem that is also faced by other products such as mosquito repellents, where the mosquitoes they become immunized to a certain brand of mosquito repellent after being exposed to them too many times. So again, we can't really test this, so we just have to base it on theory that it should work. And thirdly, we have the constructive criticism, what suggestions our users gave for us to make our product better, or what pitfalls our product has. So firstly, one of our users suggested that the use of sound might be very instrumental in scaring off the snakes. And then next is that one of the users commented that we should have a flexible body to make the fake snake look more like that of a real snake. So we assume that what the user meant is that for the snake to have curves like a real snake would. And lastly, the idea sparked by testing. So basically, this is in response to the criticism and the questions. So we decided to go through a second round of ideation to think of how we could improve the product. So basically, what we came up with is to implement the concept of rubber ducks or chickens. So these products, when you squish them or you press on them and you apply pressure, basically, then they will create a loud sound. And this might be effective in scaring off the monkeys. Okay, so that comes to the end of our presentation, and thank you.